Hello scholars, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at the distributive law. The distributive law states that all terms within a bracket are operated on by the term immediately in front of the bracket. Right? All terms within a bracket are operated on by the term immediately in front of the bracket. So that means so the distributive law has to do with expanding brackets. The number or term in front of the bracket is multiplied by each thing inside the bracket. And then if we can, we simplify, so we group the like terms, if it is possible. So we're going to expand all of these brackets, we're going to expand them using the distributive law. Right? Sometimes we use arrows to show that we're multiplying the term in front of the bracket by everything. So sometimes we use arrows, for example, x times 4, x times 3. So just to remind ourselves that this term, in this case the x, is being multiplied by each of the terms in the bracket. So x times 4, which is 4x, and x times 3, which is 3x. 4x minus 3x, that gives x, or 1x. So in this case, we could simplify, right? So we are also made to realize then that if we can simplify within the bracket first, once that is possible, then we could go ahead and do that and then distribute. So 4 minus 3, that's 1. X times 1 would give us back the same x. So where it is possible to simplify within the bracket first, you can go ahead and do that, and then you expand the bracket. Alright, so we have 2 times x plus 2 times 1. So I'm not going to be drawing the arrows after this, but you can draw your arrows if it helps you to remember that you are actually multiplying this term by everything, all the other terms in the bracket. After a while, you find that you don't even need to draw your arrows, right? You just know that you're multiplying. So it's 2 times x, which is 2x. 2 times 1, which is 2. The x and the 1, we could not have simplified that within the bracket. You can't add x and 1. They are two unlike terms. So this is a constant term, this is a variable. You can't add variables and constant terms. Here we had 2 constant terms, so we could have simplified the 4 minus 3 to get 1, and then multiply that by the x. We could have worked that, but we can't add x and 1. So it's 2 times x, which gives 2x, and 2 times 1, which gives 2. Alright, so 5 times y, that's 5y. 5 times 6, that's 30. So we have distributed the 5, distributed it with the y, and distributed it with the 6. 2 times w, that's 2w. 2 times 7, and that is 14. Now, if you are given the terms, you could also move backwards and tell what would it have been in terms of brackets and which number goes in front. So we call that factorizing. So as you go up as you advance through your studies, you're going to do a topic in algebra called factorizing, which is pretty much the reverse of the distributive law. So we'll be taking back out the common factor and seeing what we're left with in the brackets, right? So that's the reverse of the distributive law. Alright, so 10 times x, that's 10x. 10 times y is 10y. Here we have 3 terms within the bracket, but it doesn't matter how many terms there are. Once the number is immediately in front of the bracket, so it should not be separated from the bracket by any operation. There should not be a plus or a subtraction, especially separating. It must be immediately in front of the bracket. That means we're multiplying. So it's 9 times a, which is 9a, 9 times b, which is 9b, and 9 times c, which is 9c. And we retain the signs. As you go up in your courses, you're going to be dealing with negative signs and positive signs and how they change each other as we multiply. For now, since all our terms on the outside are positive, we don't have to be concerned about the signs changing. So we maintain the signs on the inside of the brackets, right? But if we had a negative number or term outside, it would affect, when we multiply, it would affect these signs. So just bear that in mind. Alright, so we have 3y times 2, 3, 2, 6, and we have back our y. And 3y times 5x. So it's 3 times 5, 15, and we have to write back our x and y. So 3y times 2 is just 6y. The 2 had no variable, just a constant 2. 3y times 5x, 2 different variables. We're multiplying them, so we have to write them back. 4p times 8, 4 8 is 32, so that's 32p. 4p times 2p, that will be 8p squared. P times p is p squared. Remember, a term times itself, you're squaring the term. So since it's a variable, we don't know the value of the p, we have to write back the p, but show that we're squaring it, because we're multiplying it by itself. So 4p times 8 is 32p. One single p because this had no p. But 4p times 2p, that's going to give 8p squared. P times p is p squared. 8 times 3, that's 24. 8 times 2x, that's 16x. Okay? X times 15, that will be 15x. And x times x, we're multiplying x by itself, so we're squaring it. X times x is x squared. 4 times x, that's 4x. 4 times y is 4y. And 4 times w is 4w. So we distributed the 4 among the 3 terms in the bracket. Because the 4 is immediately in front of the bracket, we expand it 4 times x, 4 times y, 4 times w, and we keep our signs because it's a positive 4. So the signs are not affected. And finally, 9 times b, 9 times b, that's 9b. 9 times c, that's 9c. Alright, so that is the distributive law. The distributive law states that all terms within a bracket are operated on or multiplied by the term immediately in front of the bracket. Immediately in front. Not separated from the bracket by a plus sign or a minus sign. So if we had, for example, 2 minus 4x plus 5, the 2 would not be affected by the brackets here because there's a minus sign. So it will be 2, the 2 would still remain. The 4 now would be affected. So it will be minus 4x And this minus sign would affect the plus sign. You get minus 20, right? Just bear that in mind. And like I said, as you advance through your course, you're going to be seeing how negative and positive numbers affect each other when we're multiplying or dividing. So just bear in mind it has to be the term immediately in front of the bracket, not the terms further away or separated from the bracket by a negative or positive, by a minus or a plus sign. Alright? So that's the distributive law. It's also called, or we expand using the distributive law is also called foiling. Right? So expanding the brackets, foiling, using the distributive law, same thing. Alright, so if you have been helped by the video, just drop a line to say thank you, miss. I really appreciate when my students say thank you for the effort put out. And I appreciate if you share the videos so other students can benefit. We can't be selfish. So if we learn something, we must pass it on. If you have not subscribed as yet to the channel, I would urge you to do so. And if you want me to do a video on a particular topic, just let me know and I'll do that for you. So my scholars, I'll see you in the next video.